So you would believe it. The Sims 4 for Rent already has a bit of controversy even before release. Yesterday they showed us the feature overview trailer and a lot of people got very excited about it because it looked like it came with a lot of cool things in regards to being a landlord or being a tenant and just being a builder and being able to make your own residential rentals, as they're calling it. Since the trailer dropped, we've already had some good things confirmed to begin with. So in the trailer they showed off that you can have different rules depending on, you know, the landlord's preference, and they have confirmed that there is a rule to ban cats and dogs if you own that pack. So it seems like they have been thinking about cross-pack play, which is a very good thing. Although people have been concerned, okay, when you go between different residential rental units in the same lot, will there be a loading screen? Now, about 20 minutes ago, one of the sim gurus has confirmed this on Twitter. Well, kind of confirmed it. So one of the Sims team employees has confirmed in residential rentals, you'll see one active unit at a time along with all the shared spaces. If you click on a neighbor's door, that unit will become the active one, very much like City Living. If you don't own City Living, the way it works is in your apartment, you can kind of see the other townie's apartment. I'm just going to show you. So if we go into an apartment building in San Myshuno, when we load into the lot, okay, you can see we have like the shared hallway, but then we can see our apartment, but the neighboring apartments, okay, they're just kind of like totally empty. Like you can see the walls, but there's literally nothing in them. If you click on the door, nobody's actually living here right now. But if somebody was living here in this apartment building, you basically click on go to neighbor's property, and then there would be a loading screen, and then you load into their property. But if you wanted to go back home, you then have to load into yours. So the only thing that's loaded is your property in the shared space in the middle. Based on this tweet, we can assume that it's going to be the same, and there's going to be a loading screen. Now, everybody's a little bit pissed off because the whole point of having these like literally the whole point is that there's not meant to be a loading screen. That is literally the point. Like they've said it comes with the mechanic where you can basically burgle your neighbors or like snoop in their property, but to do that, like there's going to be a loading screen. It just feels like the whole point of it seems kind of missed if there's loading screens. Like imagine if you're honestly a landlord and you're going to have to load into like imagine if there's 6 units in a lot and you have to load into each one of them to like speak to the different tenants. Obviously, like as I said, the outside area should be fine. It just feels like it breaks the whole point and the immersion of the pack. In The Sims 2, by the way, The Sims 2 apartment life, you could see into your neighbor's apartment and you could go into your neighbor's apartments. There was no loading screen between each apartment. And this was released in 2008. So a game that's 15 years old is able to do it, but The Sims 4 isn't. This is why, guys, honestly, this is why I've said all along, I've said this since the start when I first became a Sims YouTuber, The Sims 4 is the worst Sims game. And I've always said it's built on such rocky platforms that they just need to like cut the game off and just move on to The Sims 5 and stop bothering with The Sims 4 anymore, because no matter how hard they try to give us what we want, they cannot physically do it because the game is coded like a piece of shit. Call me Sims 4 phobic for saying the game is, you know, coded badly. Call me a rich straight white man with privilege because I'm Sims 4. I'm Sims 4 phobic. Do you know what, like I understand, okay, if you want to control the other household, I completely understand this whole like having to go through a loading screen to control a different household. Like I get that, but to actually just like go into your neighbor's property when they're on literally the same lot, some people seem to be a bit confused, like asking, is there a loading screen or not? I feel like the Sims team are deliberately avoiding this question. I feel like they've had like a meeting where they've been like, you can't talk about this because it will cause too much controversy, but it literally says you'll see one active unit at a time along with the shared spaces. What this means is you won't be able to see your neighbor's properties and there will be a loading screen. Taking a look at the feature reveal trailer as well, you can also see it says at the bottom here, travel to unit. It doesn't say travel to lot. It says travel to unit. So it seems like it's basically confirmed, okay, that the individual units will have different loading screens despite being on the exact same lot. I feel like this is an extreme, I know sometimes I'm delusional and like I go off on one, but I just feel like it's so painfully obvious. We've got confirmation that one unit is loaded at a time, and we've got this which says travel to unit. So So it seems only right to assume that it's going to work like city living, in that, like, you know, this one unit here is loaded at a time, but if you want to go into these units, you have to load into them separately. Now, another thing that people are a little bit miffed about, but I think they're being too picky. People have been looking at this lease length thing here, and people have assumed that lease length means how long a sim is allowed to stay in that property before they get kicked out. And people were saying, oh, we can just lease it for 4 days and make it like an Airbnb and kind of turn it into like a hotel system. But it was confirmed this is not the case. I hiccup when I said that, I apologize. It's basically been said that this kind of refers to like the time between you have to like pay the rent or something, or it's like when the lease ends, the tenant can choose to continue their lease or they can choose to leave voluntarily. I believe, like, it was a bit confusing, but I was getting the impression that's what they meant. So essentially you won't be able to do, honestly, I feel like the whole point wasn't about hotels. I feel like this pack should have come with hotels because like it could have fit, I feel like, within the tenant coding of having like, you can either rent it out as a lease to a tenant, or you could turn it into an Airbnb where you rent a room or a property out and you have like no choice over who chooses to book it and what time they book it. I just feel like they could have included it like that, the hotel thing, but obviously they didn't. And I know some people are a bit miffed about that. The Sims 4 is an ambitionless game, so I wasn't expecting them to include hotels. And to be honest, deep down, I was expecting the loading screen too. So like, to be honest, I'm not like pissed off because, as I said, The Sims 4 is a shite game in terms of its coding. So like, I'm not mad because I expected it. Like, if you expect something crap to happen, you can't be mad about it. I think it's one of those things where, like, you know, like a lot of Sims now, like, we don't really play the game anymore, we just build. I feel like people aren't going to be too pissed off when it comes out because nobody's in live mode anyway, loading between different lots. Everybody's just like doing build mode, and then we say to ourselves, oh, I'm going to live here, but then, you know, you play live mode for like 5 minutes and then you get bored and switch it off. So it's like, you're not going to be bothered anyway because you're not even playing the game, like, you're just in build mode. Let's be brutal. So I get the impression that most people aren't really going to care. I personally don't really care because I don't really go into live mode anymore. I just go into build mode. People have been creating like townhouses and duplexes and retirement homes in The Sims 4 for a long time, but it hasn't actually been able to be like a reality, whereas now it's a lot more realistic. You won't need the MC Command Center mod in order to make it work. So I guess in many ways it's a good thing, but I also wonder, like, you know, for me, I know a lot of players as well have been saying like, oh, we can technically, you know, we could create a retirement home with this system. The only thing is, if you have to load between each individual bedroom, it might make that a little bit difficult. I'm also wondering, okay, now from like a coding perspective, with The Sims 4, if you're not like playing as a household and it's just like a household that you're not playing, who lives on a different lot to you, those Sims will autonomously raise their needs without really actually like doing anything. So I'm just thinking, like, if you did create, for example, like a retirement home or a student dorm where everyone has their own separate bedrooms, but you put all the main facilities like kitchen, dining, living room in the shared space, will the other Sims living in this duplex autonomously go to raise their needs by, for example, cooking for themselves? Or will they not bother because the game technically, like, it just keeps their needs high if you're not playing as them? Do you know what I mean? So like, are these like shared spaces going to become kind of useless in terms of like Sims needs? If I made it so there's only like one bathroom in the entire duplex and it's in the shared space, will the households that you're not playing as want or need to use this bathroom? Or will the game's coding autonomously raise their needs so they won't need to bother? Because if they don't need to bother, it kind of defeats the whole point of having a shared space. When I saw the initial reveal trailer, I was actually really excited. I still, honestly, like, I feel really excited. Like, as I said in my last video, I just want to play it and I just want to see exactly how it's actually going to play out in terms of the game, because it seems like a good idea, but sometimes Sims 4 ideas aren't implemented that well because the base game coding is a pile of spaghetti coded shite. So it's like, we just don't know at this stage. Like, obviously trailers, they are full of shit, not just Sims 4 trailers, but like, you know, like all video game trailers, it's like expectation versus reality. So like right now we've seen the expectation, we just haven't seen the reality of it yet. And I'm very much curious what the reality of it's going to be. Guys, what do you think about this news? Are you a build mode player or are you a live mode player? Do you actually care? Let me know. See you in the next one.